Hello, hello, hello. We are live. We are live. So let me just double check on something real quick here. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so I'm Giovanni. This is the Movie Canon YouTube channel, and this is my latest episode of the Met Report, a show about movies, entertainment, and television news. So there's a lot of information here today. There's a lot of news that came up this week. I have 3 movie reviews that I'm doing, non-spoiler reviews, of course. I would always let you know if it's an actual spoiler review. There's a lot of information, news from the one scale figures community, hot toys, and even INART that I'll be talking about here today. So that'll be part of today's episode of the Met Report. So I'm trying to get the music started here, so give me just a moment. And then whoever is listening right now or watching, if you guys could just let me know if there's some kind of an issue with the mic, the sound, or the picture, or whatever the case might be. I'll always ask you guys to let me know. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so I try to play the music, so we'll see if it actually starts playing, or maybe it looks like it already did. So just let me know if the music is too loud too. So, all right. So everyone, again, I'm Giovanni, and this is the Movie Canon YouTube channel. This is my latest episode of the Met Report. What we'll be doing today, I'll be doing this by myself, but what I'll be doing here today is I'm gonna start off with the non-spoiler review of Talk to Me. But before we do all that, we have here Birdie Moon. Sounds looks good. Background music is a little loud. Okay, so let me lower down the volume. Okay, so I lowered it down a bit. So again, let me know, you guys, if the music is too loud. Okay, so again here, like always, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Future content, new content, talk about movies, one scale figures, hot toys, just in general movie reviews and so forth. So subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of giveaways. And speaking of that, so we do have an open giveaway right now, this Funko Pop. Now, from what you can read here, it says one subscriber and or Instagram follower will choose one. Now, that's not correct, so I'll change that later, but I actually have an individual giveaway for these Funkos, so I have one of each. So you have to enter separately. Go to my Instagram page, the Movie Canon, for more details, but this is still open. I am giving away each of these. You're not choosing one, but I'm giving away each of these: Flash, Carter, Joker, Obi-Wan Kenobi Funko. So you guys are aware of that. Okay, so going back here. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining me here today. So let's go and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about here today is the non-spoiler review of Talk to Me. So this is an A24 horror movie, pretty low budget. So like always, I'm going to talk about the the positives and the negatives of each of the films, like I always do here. So this movie just came out this Friday, and from my understanding, I think this movie came out in Australia last year. So it's new to us, so it'll be considered as a 2023 movie, but I believe this is an Australian movie that came out last year for 2022. Okay, so let's go and get started here. So like always, I begin with the positive stuff, the positives of Talk to Me, or just any movie in general. So let's start with this. So I always have, little notes in case I forget, certain things. I don't want to miss things. So let's start with the story. So the story of the movie. So now it uses some of the horror tropes that we're familiar with, that we've seen, but the filmmakers here take a familiar idea and change things up a bit. So they use a different, or take a different route when it comes to certain horror elements here in this film. It's a unique take, and had the film not had this a different take, I think it will come out to be like a very typical horror movie. So in itself, on that information, that little take that they're doing here, that difference makes a big difference when it comes to this type of movie, this type of horror movie. So right off the bat, I will say there's a lot more positives than there are negatives. Actually, of the 3 movies that I'm reviewing today, the non-spoiler movies I'm reviewing today, they're all 3 of them are good. So just a little spoiler thing for you. They're all good. The 3 movies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Gran Turismo, all the 3 movies were good. So I liked all of them at different levels, but yes. In addition to, there's also a lot of mystery regarding the storyline, what's going on in this movie here. So I'm sure you've seen the trailers of this film, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. As you can see here in this graphic, there's a bit of potential like possession, or something's going on that's wrong, right? That's off, that's kind of creepy. So as far as how that occurs, there's a bit of mystery going on with it, and that's a good thing here. It keeps you invested, in addition to the horror elements, which are great here. So the mystery aspect of it is what kind of keeps you going or interested throughout the movie, and that's how it kind of comes out of its what would be a typical horror movie. Let's see here. I also have, let's see here. So this is a horror film that uses some of the elements we like in a horror, like I said here, and the performances in this movie. I think when it comes to these type of horror movies, when there's some kind of weird thing going on, when the people, the characters that are presented are acting so weird and creepy, a lot of the acting has to be top notch, right, on par, for that to work out, or else it's just going to come off funny. It's going to come off, comedic, and that's not something that you want when it comes to a horror movie. So the performances have to be super strong, and this is it here. I have this character here. I believe the actor's name is Joe Bird, if I'm not mistaken. He plays the character Riley, so he's here specifically. Now the lead is also good. I'm not saying that the lead played by I don't have her name written down, but she plays the main character, Mia. So she was good too, as you can see in the last graphic. She does some of that kind of stuff going on in the movie throughout, so she definitely carries the movie. But this particular performance here from this young kid, I don't even know how old he is, but he's young, definitely steals the show. Very great performance. There's a lot of things that he has to do here in this movie that makes you believe what is happening around him, and it's part of the creepiest and the scariest parts of this movie, I think, are whenever he's on screen. I mean, I won't give you guys any details as to what's going on, because this is a non-spoiler review of Talk to Me, but he is definitely the highlight, at least in my opinion here. So I don't think he'll get like an Oscar nomination or anything like that, but if he were to get one, I definitely would not be opposed to that. All right, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to mention as when it comes to the positives of this film here. So I already mentioned the mystery, the scariness, the horrorness, the performances, all of that is great here. It's original, it's different, so all of that is good here. Let me see here. Okay, so let's actually get to the negatives, which actually I don't think there's too many of them, but there is definitely some negatives here. So let's see. So actually, this graphic here I meant to present earlier, but the actor here plays a character called Daniel, and him and other actors, other performances here basically have to sell that they're in this particular state of mind, or possession, if you want to call it. And this is one of them here. So going back to the negatives, so here are some of the negative things here, and this is something that happens in a lot of horror movies. This is not something unique for this particular movie. It suffers from it, but it's so minimal that is not really going to affect that much, at least in my opinion. So the negatives for this is, I would say that some of the actions made by the characters are things that they shouldn't be doing, especially considering some of the things that happen. There's these characters that do certain things, make certain decisions, do certain actions that a normal person wouldn't do, especially after seeing some things that are happening, around their surroundings. Again, without me getting into details and spoilers and so forth, but they do make these decisions. Like, I would not do that. I would get away from this room or this area immediately. But they do it, and they do it more than once, and multiple characters continue to do it even after we've seen all this weird shit that's going on. Now, these decisions are not as bad as other horror movies that we've seen, right? So you've seen some other horror movies where the character does something so stupid, or let's say the killer is on the ground and the character decides to run away instead of make sure that the killer is actually going to remain on the ground. They usually like run away, and that happens a lot in like other movies, like in Scream or even in Terrifier. Those are the things that happen. This is not what I'm referring to here, but it's kind of similar to it. It's kind of getting to it, but it's not too bad. But they just make a little bit of stupid decisions here. Overall, though, I would say this movie, Talk to Me, it is a great horror film. This is a horror film that uses some of the elements we like in horror, like I said here. We have enough mystery and strong performances mixed with a nice short running time, adding to an appealing pacing of the film. So the pacing of this movie is also good too, because it's not really, really long. I think it's like an hour and a half or so. So we don't need like a really long horror movie. Usually. Like Terrifier 2, I think it's like 2.5 hours or something like that. This has a nice pacing, nice short little horror movie. It gets the job done. So Talk to Me is in the system that the movie canon uses in reviewing movies. See it, stream it, skip it. Talk to Me is definitely a see it, grade B+. So I landed on B+, just barely. If I were to rewatch it again, I might change it to maybe an A-, but as of right now, it is a B+. So that's what we have here for Talk to Me. All right, so let's see here. So let's move on to another film that we were going to review here today. So like I said, I'm reviewing 3 of them. So let's hear. So the next one here is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem animated movie that comes out on August 2nd. So I watched this yesterday. They had like a little pre-screening or whatever. So I watched that yesterday, and I was kind of iffy if I wanted to watch this or not. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtles, so I'll just straight up say that. Growing up, the Ninja Turtles was my thing, along with Batman the Animated Series. Ninja Turtles, I had all the toys. I had the little turtle van, the action figures, the Shredder, and I liked the movies. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. So I was that kid. Then they came out with that other adaptation or movie that came out like in 2014, I think. And then they did the sequel, I think 2016. Those were okay. Sometimes the turtles look kind of a little off to me. They were just okay. And so then they decided to make this movie here. So hold on a second. I'm going to try to add... I don't know why the music keeps turning off. I don't know where. I really don't know why it does this. So let me try to get that going again here. So hold on a second here. Okay, so it looks like it just stopped playing for some reason. Not sure why. Okay, so it should be playing now, so I'll just go back to what I was doing here. Okay, so again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. And like always, I start with positives, just like I did with Talk to Me. So the positives here, as you can see, here's a graphic. Here's an image of Superfly. So I'm gonna start up by saying this. I really liked Ice Cube as Superfly. I didn't think he would work in this, but I was definitely mistaken because I did hear, I saw in the trailer, Ice Cube is in this, and I was like, oh, it's gonna take me out of it. So I could tell it was Ice Cube. Obviously, it was Ice Cube, but it works. I thought he was pretty funny, and his overall character worked. Even the character design of Superfly is pretty awesome looking, along with other characters that are introduced here in the movie. I'm not going to go over to every single character, but the design of Superfly is pretty cool. When you first see him, and then later on, again, this is a non-spoiler review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, but it's just an overall cool design. Let's see. The next one here is the casting. So the casting of the younger actors to portray the turtles. I think this might be the first time that they've done something like that. So that was a different idea, different take. So I think it worked. Most of the kids or the turtles, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael, they do sound pretty young. They sound like 10-year-olds to me. Except Leonardo. Leonardo definitely sounds older. I don't know how old the actor who voiced him, I don't know how old he is, but he definitely sounds older. I mean, he is the leader, so maybe they wanted someone to sound like a leader, someone older. So their portrayal was done quite well. Then Jackie Chan. So Jackie Chan is portraying or voicing Splinter. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of interesting that they used Jackie Chan to be like this masterful, teacher of what would be the acts of a ninja. So it was perfect casting. He has a couple of funny lines in here that worked. So I thought that was interesting that they did that. Then we have, of course, we got April O'Neil in this, and she has her little moment to shine as well. So she was fine. She was cool. So when it comes to the turtles and the main characters, when it comes to the Ninja Turtles, they're all good. They all fit here in this little animated adaptation of the Ninja Turtles. So that was good. Let me see here. So the next one also I want to talk about is the villains that a lot of us know growing up, especially in the cartoons. We have Bebop and Rocksteady. So these are the characters, at least for me, and I think a lot of you guys too, who used to watch the Ninja Turtles cartoons. Bebop and Rocksteady, those were like one of the two main like little goons or like the minions that we remember here. So they were cool. They were cool in this. Bebop is voiced by Seth Rogen, and Rocksteady by John Cena. They were all overall pretty cool, especially to see them here, and the animation style that they use with them. And I think their design here in this movie is probably the best part of the movie. Even though whenever Seth Rogen voices a character, it really does take me out of it. Seth Rogen voicing Bebop, and then he also voiced Donkey Kong in the Super Mario Brothers movie. It took me out. Now he's not in it that long, so it's fine. But I mean, it does take me out of it. But when they introduce Bebop and Rocksteady, I thought that was hilarious the way they did it. When you watch the movie, I think you'll know what I mean here. Let's see. So let's go into the animation style. The animation style of this movie, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. So we have there's definitely some kind of inspiration from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is the style is different, so it's not exactly the same, but I definitely see some inspiration there from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse here, and it works. I like that they went this route. At first I wasn't too sure about it, just like I was when they first showed the trailer of of Into the Spider-Verse years ago. But this works. It looks good, especially on the big screen. It's like a nice little like painting and drawing or whatever you want to call it. Different type of animation that works here. So I like that. Let's see here. And ultimately, I appreciated the look of New York City here amongst this Ninja Turtle universe type of thing here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I did like that. So let's see. So let's get into the negatives. So I think I already went over the positives here. So let's look into the negatives. And the negatives I have here. So there were a few jokes that didn't land with me, and I think some of the jokes, like this movie is, not that the other Ninja Turtle movies or shows weren't targeted at kids. This one seems like it was more so, at least compared to the last attempt that they did with the Ninja Turtles, because I think those movies were like PG-13, and this one's a PG, a lot more kid-friendly movie. So some of the jokes like didn't land, at least for me, but there are plenty of jokes that did. So, but I would say that some of those jokes would come down to some of the negative components or elements here. Also, the origin. So we've all seen the origin of the Ninja Turtles. So they get into that here, which is something I guess you would expect when they're rebooting something. We've seen it. It kind of slowed down the pacing of the movie a little bit. But if we have some kids who've never seen Ninja Turtles or don't know much about it, they're just discovering Ninja Turtles. I mean, it's cool for those kids because, like I said, it is targeted more for kids in this. But for me, someone who grew up with Ninja Turtles, seeing the origin again is kind of like, it kind of slowed it down for me. So it's kind of like seeing the origin of, let's say, like Spider-Man, or the origin of Batman or Superman. Like, we've seen that origin. It's kind of like that, at least for a person of my generation and so forth. So once we get past that, though, things get a little bit more interesting. It's a lot of more cooler stuff that starts coming up here. And then we get a better pacing. So I think that's it for Ninja Turtles. So overall, I think most kids and preteens will undoubtedly enjoy this movie. And even though there's some moments here that the filmmakers attempt to pull those nostalgia strings to people like me who grew up with the cartoon and the characters, they definitely add some stuff in there. Again, there's a non-spoiler review, so I won't give you those details, but they add some of those in there, and they worked. And overall, it's a cute and fun little animated movie. So, like I always do, see it, stream it, or skip it in the movie canon system here. So for this one, it's going to be a see it. So it'll still be a see it. Grade B minus. Some of the negative components there that I already talked about. So it brings it down a little bit, but I'll say it's a see it, grade B minus. So that's the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem that is coming out on August 2nd. So it's coming up. It's just a few days from now here. All right, so that's it here. So let me try and check the music again. Again, it's just completely dead. It hasn't played anything here. So let me try to get there here. See if it'll try it again. All right, let's see here. So let's start over. It says it's supposedly playing it. I'm not sure why it's not doing it. Okay, so I'll just go back here. Okay, so it's playing. Okay, I don't know why. Now it's playing. So the music's playing now, and we'll see. It'll probably die again later. All right, so let's move on to the next. So the next non-spoiler review that I'm doing here today is another movie that's coming out. This one's coming out on August 11th. So we have Sony's PlayStation film, GRAN TURISMO. So this movie, I mean, I saw the trailer. I've heard that this was going to be made, and I saw the trailer, and it didn't do anything for me. I ended up watching this almost a week ago. So I was able to watch this little pre-screen or whatever you call it. Oh, it's one of those mystery movies at Regal. So they played this. And I'll start with the positives here. So right off the bat, I will say that this movie did surprise me. Like, I had no interest in watching this. The fact that I watched this was because of that mystery movie thing that they do at Regal. You know, you buy a ticket, like $5, you show up, and you'll find out what movie it is while you're there sitting and watching the screen. And it was this movie. Because normally I wouldn't have bought a ticket for this. Because it just, there's no interest for me. I mean, I'm not into racing. I knew this game existed. I never played it, didn't care to play it. So there was just nothing for me here. So I was pleasantly surprised that I actually did like this movie. So I'll start with some of the positives here. So we have, so it's a very well choreographed and fun ride of a movie. So I will say that my expectations for this movie were very low, as I mentioned. I've never played the game, even though I've seen it many years ago. So there are multiple racing sequences in this movie. Let me get the graphic here. There are multiple racing sequences that are filled with suspense and thrill. That it really does make you feel the stakes. So when you're watching a race, when you're watching a scene like this, the filmmakers make it to be as that someone could die. They definitely raise the stakes here in this movie, and it's directed by I think it's Neil Blomkamp. I believe he's the one who directed District 9, which is the only good film that he's ever made, you know, prior to this one, at least in my opinion. But so that's one of the things here, and this is considering that this is based on a true story. So I'm not sure how accurate it is, what kind of liberties the filmmakers are taking, especially when it comes to some of these action sequences and racing stuff that's going on. So we consider that, but all of this, it does add to the suspense, because I don't know which one is actually real or not. Next, let's go into the performances. So here are the performances, particularly the lead. So the actor Archie Madekwe, I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. He leads. You see him here in the graphic, and David Harbour. So their scenes, their performances were well executed. Their dynamic and story beats, though, remind me of this movie, of Cars. Doc Hudson and Lightning McQueen. Their dynamic, their moments in this movie and some of the story beats, like I mentioned, are very similar to these two. So it just kind of reminded me. I'm not saying that this is a positive or negative thing when it comes to, they reminded me of Cars, but I just thought it was kind of funny. And it does, if you've seen Cars and then you see this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see here. And then we have, let's see. Jaimin Hanso. Now, I don't have a graphic for him, but he plays the father, the lead character's father. He also plays the wizard in Shazam. And he does great work when given any dramatic scenes. And, I mean, he's a two-time Oscar nominated actor. He was first discovered, or at least he was first seen by most audiences in Amistad. And he's a great actor. When you give him a good dramatic role or dramatic scene, he definitely delivers. And he was great in this. And he always usually does. The actor who actually surprised me that didn't, and I don't have actually I do have a graphic for him, but I'll get to that one in a bit here. Actually, we can probably get into the negatives now here. So here are the negatives. So, I covered Orlando Bloom. Okay, so I was going to talk about Orlando Bloom. So Orlando Bloom, he was fine in it. His character is important and significant for the story of Gran Turismo, but he didn't really stand out to me. I mean, I've liked Orlando Bloom and other things. You know, he's Legolas, and he's done other stuff or whatever. But he actually didn't stand out. Like when I was looking into this movie and reviewing, you know, making the graphics and all that stuff, I had forgotten about Orlando Bloom. Like I said, I don't think he wasn't bad or anything. He just kind of didn't stand out to me for whatever reason. Now going into some more of the negatives here. So this is a movie about racing and a story of, you know, the underdog. So there are many scenes here that are borderline cliches. And like I said, I don't know what some of the changes that the filmmakers made. I don't know what was legit, what was real, or what was like over dramatized or whatever. But some of the story beats here are, you know, the cliche underdog type of scenes that you could imagine. They're in here. So that would definitely be quite a significant a negative here. So because these are things that we've kind of already seen. So I'll get that. Okay, so overall though, so let's get to again in the movie canon movie review system, seen it, stream it, or skip it. So this one is going to be a see it. I'll give it a solid B. So it was surprisingly fun, and it was entertaining. So it's a fun and thrilling experience, and it was cool to see it on the big screen for this particular movie here. Yeah, so that's Gran Turismo. So see it, a grade solid B. Okay, so let's move on here to the next thing. Okay, so we already talked about these 3 movies, Ninja Turtles and Talk to Me. I'm trying to get the graphic of. So all 3 of these movies I enjoyed, I liked. I recommend all 3 of them. You know, different levels of it, of course, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So now let's actually get into the figures talk. So there's actually a lot of news that came out of both Hot Toys and some revelations or reveals from INART. So INART I usually don't talk about, but they did a big thing about it this week. So I'll go over that just for a little bit towards the end of this. But there's a few figures, a big news, teases and so forth that I was expecting last week. So when they did the Sideshow Con, they teased some things, but this type of announcement that we got this week from Hot Toys directly was the stuff that I was kind of expecting the week prior. And then, so there's more information now than there was at the Sideshow Con. But the main thing here is this. So Hot Toys announced another Joker from the Dark Knight. So within the 1/6 scale community, there is this consensus that the Joker from INART. So INART is another company that's kind of competing with Hot Toys. They started making these figures, realistic, you know, sculpts and so forth. So their version of the Joker has rooted hair, and I mean their head sculpts are really good too. Some would say even better than Hot Toys, but they don't have that many figures like Hot Toys does. But the Joker one that they've announced from Hot Toys years ago doesn't have, you know, rooted hair, just regular sculpted hair. And that was, I think, over a decade ago that they've actually announced that Dark Knight Ledger Joker. So perhaps it's a response to INART. That maybe INART is actually taking away some business from Hot Toys. Probably not significant enough yet, but this looks like it's a response from INART. They did that Wonder Woman rooted hair exclusive about a month ago, or probably more than now, maybe like a month and a half ago. I think that was like the test. And now they're doing this one, Joker rooted hair. And so here's another image here. They also have if from my understanding, there's also a sculpted hair Ledger Joker or Hot Toys that will be available. They have the, if you can notice here, you can see the tongue. Heath Ledger's Joker. He would have his his tongue sticking out. So from what I recall reading is that because he has the prosthetics that he has on his mouth. Apparently, they'll make his lips or his mouth get really really dry, and he would stick his tongue out and like lick around his mouth or whatever. And it looks like they kept it in the movies because you see him do that a lot. His tongue is sticking out, and it kind of works because it makes him look kind of like weird and crazy. So that's kind of an iconic thing. I know some members of the 1/6 scale community do not like this, but you could remove this. It looks like this tongue, you could remove it, and you can add it or take it out or whatever. I kind of like that it's like that because it's kind of a iconic for Ledger's Joker, because that's something that only he did. I don't recall Nicholson ever doing that. Jared Leto definitely didn't do it afterwards, and Cesar Romero, he didn't do that. So it was a specific, unique thing that Ledger's Joker had it. So I personally like that. So they added that in there, and here's another image here with the little grenades that he shows to the mob, as we see in that one scene. Actually, that was the first big scene that we see the Joker, when we see his actual full-on costume and everything. So this is that one scene when he's playing around with the mobsters and he shows them the grenades here. Now this is a 15-year-old movie, so maybe they did the Joker in addition to the INART response, but because it's a 15-year anniversary, the Dark Knight came out 15 years ago in July in 2008, so that might be part of it. This is an exclusive one. Now the rooted hair is limited, from my understanding. I think they're only releasing 4,000 figures of the rooted hair worldwide, so that may be hard to get. The sculpted hair, I believe it might be more quantities for it, so it might be doable to get that one. But this is what a lot of people are trying to get with the rooted hair. This is another image of just showing a little bit more, suit jacket, Joker, Ledger, Hot Toy. And then another one here, a separate eyeball rolling system, like a lot of the figures we've been having lately from Hot Toys. And another image here. So again, this is Hot Toys is calling it the Artisan Edition, the Joker with the rooted hair. I have like a list of on my YouTube channel many years ago. I think it was like in 2019. I made a video about my top 10 favorite characters, movie characters, TV characters of all time, and the Joker was one of them. I don't recall what place it was, but I think it was like in the top 3 or maybe top 4. I think it was top 3. Just the Joker as a character overall. So, and then I believe, or I think that Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight is one of the best performances made or ever done. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I'm not sure if he would be the best performance ever, but he's definitely amongst the best. So the thing that elevates The Dark Knight, in addition to all the other good things that are in it, is Ledger's performance. And I thought I missed out on this one because I just started collecting just this year. So this Joker Hot Toys came out many years ago. I think the last one was in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously I missed out on that one, and if you want to get it from the second market or whatever, you're gonna pay a shitload of money just to get that version. So this one just came out, or is about to come out, or about to be officially announced, because it's not ready for pre-order yet. That's the other thing, that you have to RSVP and try to get it. I'm not gonna try to get a rooted hair Joker, because the sculpted hair is probably gonna be more accessible and it'll be cheaper, and I don't necessarily care about the rooted hair, and the rooted hair is gonna be probably like $500 or more. which I'm not gonna do for this one. But just so you guys know, if you guys don't know anything about this, it's this Joker from Hot Toys. The rooted hair is not available for pre-order yet. It will come. Maybe by the time I cut out this segment and post it on my YouTube channel in its own video, it'll probably be already at Sideshow and probably already sold out. But as of right now, July 30th, 12:55 p.m. Pacific time, this Joker is not available to pre-order yet, and I think it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get him, but we'll see what happens. So that was the Joker one. Let's move on to the next one here. So this is Anakin Skywalker, rooted hair. So this one is just it's also an exclusive. So it's also an exclusive. I think for this one, I think it's only 3,000 figures worldwide that they're gonna actually sell or make or produce. So this one's gonna be even harder to get. There's no sculpted hair version of this. It's just the rooted hair Anakin Skywalker. Looks like it's, you know, light side because his eyes aren't yellow. He doesn't look that evil yet, so I think this might be the light side Anakin Skywalker, but it's with the rooted hair. So the other ones Hot Toys has made, I think the other one came out in 2018. This one is not rooted hair, it's hair sculpted, but this one right here that you see, separate rolling eyeballs, is rooted hair, and it's going to be very limited. This one is not available for pre-order yet on Sideshow. If you want to try to get it in Hong Kong, I don't even know if you can anymore, but a lot of people are going to try to get him. And again, just like the Joker, as of right now, July 30th, 12:57 p.m. on Sideshow, you cannot pre-order him yet. You can only RSVP and try to see if you can get him. So we'll see what happens with this one. I will try to get Anakin Skywalker because Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is also, I think he might be in my top 2 favorite characters of all time. So that's what we have going on with this one, and hopefully we'll find out soon what happens with this. Let's see who's able to get it, or get him, I should say. Okay, so I have let me show you this one here. So it just shows a little bit of what everything it comes with, just like I showed you with the Joker one. So a lot of people are excited about this, but like I said, it's going to be very limited, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so the next one here, the next figure that Hot Toys announced, so this is a standard announcement. So this one is available to pre-order now. This is not like an exclusive or limited, but a lot of people wanted this guy here. The symbiote Spider-Man Peter Parker black suit Hot Toy 1-scale figure was officially announced. They've announced the other two this is from the game, from the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 game that's coming out in October. And then, by the way, guys, I am doing a giveaway for Spider-Man 2 PS5. I'll tell you guys later how you can enter, but it's still probably like a month away or so. But just a little side note there. So Spider-Man 2, a lot of people wanted him, and it's available for pre-order now. So actually, let me get you some other graphics here while we do that. So again, this is from the PS5 game. It's not, it's not from the Tom Hardy Venom or anything like that. It's not the Spider-Man 3 Topher Grace version. This is from the PS5 game, Spider-Man 2, that is not even out yet. I think the game comes out on October 20th, I believe. So Hot Toys already announced 3 figures for a game that has not come out yet. But I know this is the one that a lot of people wanted. So I'm going to try something here. Hold on a sec. I'm going to try to see if you guys can see this or not. Hold on a moment. I'm going to try to show you my screen, because I know sometimes it's an issue. So, okay, so I put it there now. So let me just double check on something here. So again, this is the Spider-Man symbiote, a black suit, Hot Toys that was announced. So let me just see if my screen is actually seen here. Hold on a second. Okay, so it looks like you can see me. Okay, so it looks like it's working just fine. So this is the special edition exclusive. So some of the things here that it comes with, obviously we have the authentic and detailed likeness of Peter Parker in black suit from Marvel's Spider-Man 2 game, one newly crafted masked head. Like always, these 1/6 scale are approximately 30 centimeters tall. Newly developed body with over 30 points of articulations. 8 pieces of interchangeable hands with cobweb pattern, including one pair of relaxed hands, one pair of web shooting hands, one pair of web swinging hands, one open left hand, one gesture right hand. Costume: one newly developed black suit, one pair of translucent black covered web wings with magnetic function, 4 detachable silver colored pincers with black tendrils with articulated function. Some of the accessories: 1 tentacle effect attachable to the forearms, 6 strings of newly designed black webbing in different shapes and lengths, specially designed dynamic figure and stand with game logo and character nameplate. So that's the again, from the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 game that will be coming out in October. So October 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go back here. So you see this graphic here. Now this, what looks very cool to me is that the suit itself, he kind of looks like kind of wet. You know, the symbiote, like it's kind of gooey. It looks kind of wet, and I kind of like that. It looks very cool like this. And I don't know what kind of texture they're using, but it definitely stands out here. And this one is the one that kind of almost pushed me and try getting him. I'm not going to pre-order this one because I haven't played the Spider-Man games, and I'm not really following or not really collecting any 6 scale figures, hot toys that are from video games. Mostly I'm focusing on movies for TVs. Now this one is specifically from the game, so I can't really say that it's it's from Spider-Man 3 the movie, or obviously the Tom Hardy one, because that's not what this is at all. But this looks very cool. I already have, or at least already pre-ordered my Spider-Man version that I'll be getting as Hot Toys, and I'm not gonna get this one, but I could totally get a lot of people wanting him, this special edition, and I think this is the special edition exclusive. Because they have the standard and then the special edition exclusive, but they're the same price, so I don't know what the difference is. But this looks cool. This is very cool. And here's a graphic, an image of what it all comes with, and then we get to the price. So this is $305. This is from Sideshow. Every time I put up a price of a figure, of a hot toy figure, it's from Sideshow. I know there's other companies, other stores that sell, but I rely on Sideshow because, and I'm not being sponsored by Sideshow, by the way, but I rely on Sideshow because I've dealt with the customer service before, and they were quick and they were good. And I hear from other people, others in the community, that Sideshow is good when it comes to the service if you're going to pre-order a particular figure. So, and sometimes they have like deals and stuff like that, but I rely on them, and they're in the US. I think they're in California, if I'm not mistaken, but they're close. But sometimes their figures are going to take longer than, let's say, like Hong Kong or whatever. But that's the Sideshow price, $305 plus tax plus shipping. Is expected to ship July to December of 2024. So that's a little over a year now, or over a year now. And at first, Sideshow was showing a different date, which was wrong. It said that it was going to come out in October of this year, so like in 2-3 months. And that was very quick. But that was not correct. So they went and fixed it, and it is July to December of 2024. So that's this one. There's also another one that's Hot Toys announced this week, and this is from it's another Iron Man Tony Stark figure. There's so many Hot Toys that are Iron Man. I like the character. I like Tony Stark. I like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. He was surprisingly good when I first saw the movie, the first Iron Man movie in 2008. So I was surprised about Downey Jr. as this character. And he is like the main guy that you think of when it comes to the MCU now. So he's a cool character. Like I said, there's a shitload of Tony Starks and Iron Mans. This is the most latest one. And I believe this one is from the first Avengers movie. And the shirt that he's wearing, apparently he's supposed to be using the Black Sabbath shirt. And it kind of looks like it, but it's not. So maybe the Tatos didn't get the licensing for Black Sabbath or something. So it doesn't have it, but it kind of looks like it. The figure itself looks really good. But like I said, I'm not going to pick him up, but I'm sure a lot of people who are collectors or who like the MCU or Iron Man in general will probably get him. I'm sure they won't have any issues with selling Tony Stark, even though I do see a lot of Iron Mans on Sideshow that are still not sold out, that are still available. But yeah, I won't be picking him up. But he's the latest new Iron Man or Tony Stark from Hot Toys, and the price. So the price is actually more than the black suit, the symbiote Spider-Man that I just talked about. So this one is $400. And it's probably because it comes with like all the Iron Man gear or the costume, the suit overall. I'm sure it has a lot of little details that raises the price of it. But this one is $400 again. Sideshow. This is the Sideshow price. Expected to ship July to December of 2024. This one's already available for pre-order, so you could pick this one up or order it. Unlike the Anakin Skywalker and the Joker one. Okay, so that's it for these two. Now, the rest that I'm going to talk about here, these are some teases that Hot Toys did. So they had like a showcase this week in China. I don't know if it's still going on. In Hong Kong, I don't know if it's still going on. I think it already ended. So they teased, they showed some little clips, little images, graphics, or pictures, I should say, of some of these Hot Toys figures. So the first one that you see here is the John Wick Chapter 4. So this is the figure that they're teasing. It's not officially announced, but they're teasing him here. He's not available for pre-order yet, but they're definitely showing us that they did make a prototype of this Keanu Reeves John Wick from Chapter 4. I already have my Keanu Reeves in the version of Neo, so I don't feel compelled to get a John Wick, even though I do like the franchise, I do like the series. But this is John Wick Chapter 4, and of course I'll let you guys know if they officially announce him and give you details on my social media, Instagram, and or on one of my videos. Kane was also teased from John Wick Chapter 4, so he's looks just like the actor. He was pretty cool in the movie. If you've seen John Wick Chapter 4, he was pretty cool in this. He went toe-to-toe with John Wick. Very few people that can do that, at least in this universe that we know about. So it's cool that they're making one as well. When it's actually going to be announced officially, who knows? Maybe next week, maybe a month, maybe never, who knows? The next one that they tease is, you can really, I don't know if you can even tell, but it's Predator from the movie Prey. The Prey movie that came out on Hulu. Now the movie itself, I really liked. I enjoyed it a lot. It was among my top movies of the year in 2022. And I don't know if they've made other Predators 1/6 scale for Hot Toys. I don't know if they've made other. I know they've made other manufacturers have made statues. I'm not sure if they've made other Predators. I would think that they have, but I don't know from the top of my head. But this is the Prey version of Predator. I don't know if you can remove that. I think that was like a piece of a skull, I think, like a helmet or something. So I don't know if you can remove that. I'm sure whenever they officially announce, they'll show us the actual full figure. But this is the Predator that they teased. Okay, so they have a couple more here. They also teased him, Barry Allen. Now this is the young Barry Allen, the one that you see in the trailers. If you haven't seen the Flash movie, there's the regular, well, not the regular, but the Barry Allen that is of the current timeline or whatever, and then he goes back and sees his younger self or their younger self, and this is the younger Barry Allen. This figure has not officially been announced. Like I mentioned, this is just a tease. I actually like this better than the Flash from the movie figure that they announced like a month and a half ago, or a month or so. Yeah, I think a month and a half ago now. I actually like this version more because the head sculpt looks different. You know, he has this weird expression. He has a cut on his face. If you've seen the movie, you know where that comes from. And then the suit. If you haven't seen the Flash, this is going to be kind of a minor spoiler, so just so you're aware. I don't know if you want to consider it a spoiler or not, but the suit here that this Barry Allen is wearing is actually a Keaton Batman suit. As you might be able to tell, there's a Batman logo there, and then they just painted it red and did the little lightning for the Flash, as you can see here. So this one looks cool. I mean, I'm not going to pick him up or anything, but this looks cooler than the regular Flash that they announced about a month and a half ago. So this is just a little tease. The next thing here, so this is actually the older 2099 Spider-Man from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is what they showed us. So this looks like a regular Walmart jointed action figure. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm new at collecting, so when they announced this and they showed this, I thought that was a joke. And then when it turned out that it wasn't a joke and this is the figure, to me it was like, well, this doesn't look like the Hot Toys that I've seen. But then again, I haven't been following 1/6 scale or Hot Toys for a long period of time. I was like, do they normally do this? Do they once in a while release toys like this or figures like this that look like a Walmart toy with all these joints? And it just looks basic. And the price is a Hot Toys price, which I think this one was like $260 or something, $270. And I'm sure they got a lot of backlash. This is another shot, another graphic of that particular figure. But they fixed it. And this is the tease that they dropped earlier this week. Or I think it was last week. But we got a better shot, a better picture of it. So this looks a lot better already. This 2099 Spider-Man from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So they definitely fixed this. I don't know what they were thinking when they announced this one. If you were to compare it, one of them is a Hot Toy and one of them doesn't look like a Hot Toy. But both of these were Hot Toys at one point and had a Hot Toys price. So this is the one that they're going to stay with. So if some people decided not to get this version of 2099 because it looked like this, all jointed, maybe, I'm sure a lot of people are now actually ordering, because I think a lot of people did like the character in the movie. So this looks a lot better. And I'm not necessarily completely against, jointed figures. It just depends on like, what are you going to charge and what does it look like? Because, for example, Mondo, which is another manufacturer of 1/6 scale figures, and Mondo is the only one that actually does the Batman animated series as far as I know, because I was looking for a Kevin Conroy Batman animated series, and Hot Toys doesn't make them, or the show, the animated show, none of the characters, they don't make them, but Mondo does. But their 1/6 scale, you can tell that there's like joint and stuff going on, but even though it's also animated just like the 2099, but this one looks better than here and here. But But yeah, so I mean, like I do like this. It's not as expensive as Hot Toys. It is still kind of pricey because it's still 1/6 scale. The quality is still there. Apparently, they're like really kind of heavy figures, and you get different head sculpts and accessories and so forth. Both of these, the Batman and the Joker one. But this one looks cool. I do like this. But this one looks like Walmart, even though this does have joints and everything, but this still looks better to me. I just kind of want to get that comparison there. The other thing here is they also showcase Moff Gideon from season 3 Mandalorian, and the guards you can see in the background, which are always cool looking, and Mandalorian or Last Jedi or Return of the Jedi or whatever, they always look cool. So it looks like they might, I'm pretty sure they'll announce these soon. I don't think they're just teasing this and then not announcing, because sometimes they do that. They tease things and they don't ever announce them. Like they teased the Batmobile Rubber Penson like over a year ago. Still haven't seen anything about it. But I think they'll announce this one. I think a lot of people do want this new Moff Gideon suit that he gets in Mandalorian season 3. So I think they'll actually will do that. So that was it for the Hot Toys showcase. So now I'm just very briefly, I'm going to get into the INART stuff. So as I mentioned earlier, and here's the first graphic here, the first reveal. This is the only image that I have of the Superman INART. But so for the ones who don't know, you know, INART is another company. I believe they used to make statues, or maybe they still do make statues. But they started making 6 scale figures, competing with Hot Toys, some people would say. Some of the quality of theirs seems to be sometimes better. It is more expensive. This is a Superman one. They teased him like a month ago, I think. They just showed like part of the cape or like part of the suit. But now they actually reveal the head sculpt. And I decided to go with this one, at least to show you guys this one, because it's the more interesting one to me. I kind of see Henry Cavill, but in a way I don't. But I do see, I can tell the quality of the head sculpt. Now this is, I think it's still a prototype, so I'm sure they could still fix things. But this is the Henry Cavill Superman. I know they released the Joker one, and I know there's some other ones that they're working on. They also teased this one right here, Paul Atreides from Dune, Timothée Chalamet. So this is just a tease, and I don't think they mentioned anything about a price or anything like that, but this is another INART. And then the next one here is Gandalf. I know that they mentioned or announced him a while ago, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, and they have some other Lord of the Rings characters too, but I just don't have a graphic for those. But this one looks like Ian McKellen. This one looks pretty good. I'm not enough of a fan of Lord of the Rings to spend Hot Toys or INART money for this, but this does look good. So those Lord of the Rings fans, this is definitely something for you here. I don't think there's any information as to when this will actually come out, but this is just another figure that they teased or showed at their China, I think they're in Shanghai, a showcase that they did this week. So that was INART. So let's move on to something else. So we're going past the figures here. We're almost done with this stream, but I've been talking a little bit about the Halloween Horror Nights. I'm a big Halloween fan. I guess the holiday. I really like Halloween. I like horror stuff. I particularly like Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. And so I've just been giving you guys some updates about the mazes, because this year they seem to be taking much longer in announcing those mazes, because around this time frame, Universal would have already had a lot more mazes, but for some reason they took longer this time. So there's some more information here, so I'm gonna try to see if the screen thing works here. So just hold on a moment here while I double check, because sometimes the my streaming service or system doesn't capture me trying to capture my laptop or the screen anyway. So let's see here if it pops up. Okay, it looks like it is. Okay, good. So it is working. Okay, so let's see what they have here. So they've announced a few more mazes, and let me make this bigger. Okay. All right, so here we go. Halloween Horror Nights. So this is just for Hollywood. So I'm in SoCal, so obviously I'm concerned about Hollywood, not the Orlando one. So it says here 8 terrifying haunted houses coming this year. So far they've announced 5. So we have here The Exorcist Believer. They announced that this week, I think. It says here, it talks about the movie that's about to come out in October. It says 2 missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them, but wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. So that's related to the new Exorcist movie that's coming out in October. They also announced this week Chucky Ultimate Kill Counts. And I believe Orlando already had this, but they hadn't actually announced the Chucky house for Hollywood yet until this week. So this one says here, Chucky, the serial killer doll, is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill counts. So that was announced this week. The other one that they announced this week is the haunted house Universal Monsters Unmasked. And the last times that I've gone to Universal's Horror Nights, they usually have a Universal Monsters maze. I mean, that's like their main property, so why wouldn't they use it? But for this one, it's called Universal Monsters Unmasked. It says descend into the Paris catacombs where you and your squad will face a new horde of monsters: Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the Invisible Man. So it looks like they're not really focusing on the other Universal horror monsters that they usually have, like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Wolfman. So it looks like they're focusing on some other ones. So that should be interesting. Then the other ones that they've already announced is the Stranger Things 4 maze. It says band together with your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet. So that's kind of cool. I did like the latest season of Stranger Things. So I thought that one was very good compared to the third one and the second one. So I was excited that they announced this because there's a lot of things that they can do with a maze specifically for this new season or the latest season of Stranger Things. So I'm glad that they brought that back. And then the one that a lot of us already know, the first one that they announced was The Last of Us from the game, not from the series. But The Last of Us, you and your squad must stay silent if you want to survive clickers and more as the gritty world of Naughty Dog's video game comes to life. So that's 5 mazes for Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm sure they'll announce the next few or the last few on the next hopefully coming weeks, because this is about to begin like in a month. In Orlando, I think they start on September 1st, and here in Hollywood they start on September 7th. So it's coming up. So Halloween Horror Nights. So are any of you guys planning on going to Halloween Horror Nights? So let me know if you guys are going. I'm planning on going this, but we'll see what happens. But so I just wanted to give you guys an update about this because I know I was talking about it earlier in my last streams and so forth. So there you go. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, and then I'll just bring this up real quick. This is not an official announcement, but I'll just tease it here again. So Spider-Man 2, the PS5 game, is coming out on in October. I think it's coming out on October 20th. I will be doing a giveaway for this. I will open the giveaway. I know I put in this graphic in this video, you see this as September, but I might do it at the end of August. So I might open the giveaway at the end of August. Of course, there'll be more details as to how to enter and win and all that, but just wanted to tease it here again. So there you go. And then, of course, I still have this open, the Funko giveaway. I am doing these individually, so you can enter for the Flash separately, or you can only enter for the Joker if you only want the Joker, whatever the case might be. So they're individual giveaways, despite what it says here that you'll choose one. I'm doing them individually. So if I get, minimum entries, then there'll be a winner. Go to my Instagram page at The Movie Canon for more details as to how to enter and how you could win. Okay, so then again, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel of The Movie Canon for future content, future giveaways, future information about, pop culture stuff, figures, 1/6 scale, or whatever the case might be. Go ahead and subscribe. Or follow the Instagram page at The Movie Canon. I have TikTok and Twitter, although I think Twitter's logo is different now. I think it's like an X or something. So my little graphic of the Twitter bird is outdated from what I can tell now, but there it is. Okay, so I think that is it, everyone. So for the ones who watch this live, thank you so very much for watching this live with me. Or if you watch this after the fact, then thank you for that as well. So that'll conclude today's latest Met Report episode. Like I said, future giveaways, current giveaways, future content, and so forth. So subscribe to the channel, follow the social media pages that I have, and that's it, everyone. So let me know, what are your thoughts on everything that I talked about today, the movie reviews, the figures that I talked about, the Horror Night stuff. Let me know, leave me your comments there below. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you guys next time.